The idea behind Art Pass always was, just to unlock the city for you, to give you that passport to all 10 boroughs of Greater Manchester to go and find your future. This is all about, isn't it, the next generation. And we know many of you tuning in tonight have had a tough time over the last year, but Art Pass is there for you. It's been there for you for a couple of years now, and it will continue to be there for you. We need your talent. The city needs you.
When I set OpenMoney up, almost 4 years ago, I had 3 ambitions for the company. The first one was to provide a service that would help people make more of their money. The second one was that OpenMoney was always going to be a Manchester business. The third ambition was that OpenMoney would be a company that puts diversity right at the heart of everything that we do, and that we can encourage and provide opportunities for everyone, regardless of background or their education.
So tonight we have Karina and Liam with us, and you guys, we're absolutely delighted, to speak to you guys and find out more about how you became so successful, and how you're leading the way in the entrepreneur business. Yeah, Karina, we have you. You're very well known for being the youngest, most successful businesswoman in the region, which is, it's all right to have on the CV, that, isn't it? And you're the founder of your own bar and restaurant, Menagerie, which has seen several guests such as Justin Timberlake, Drake, and has seen mad performances from people like Professor Green. So it's not too bad, that, is it? Not too bad. And we have Liam. Liam, your business sort of first became successful when you went on the TV show Dragon's Den, when you won a very large investment from Manchester's very own Jenny Campbell. So yeah, once again, outstanding. And other than that, we're going to get started. So Karina, I'll come to you first.
I had no business training whatsoever. At school, I was very bothered about my results. I was like a very focused person on my education. Like, that was seriously important to me because my parents were super strict. I was a very, very scared person. Me, when I was 18 to 20, I was very meek and very self-conscious and very anxious and wasn't really sure of myself.
I wasn't, to be fair, very academic. I actually found my old school reports when I was moving house. It was a reoccurring theme. Very bright, but very disengaged and not interested. So I probably wasn't a fan of the traditional education route. So when I left school, I thought, right, I'm going to get a job. I need to do something. And I thought, right, I'm going to be a window cleaner. Hard work that was. It rained the second day. So that was my career as a window cleaner over.
Basically, we ended up going to do food and drink festivals and like food and drink markets and all that kind of thing, and just trying out some different things. We did all of our qualifications and things and got into it. Obviously, being a really small business with no push whatsoever, no sway, nobody cared. Everyone was like, who are you? We ended up in this unit in the Arndale food court that was in like the dark corner on the opposite side from McDonald's and KFC. And I was like, nobody wants to choose us over McDonald's. Like, everybody's going to McDonald's. So I used to stand at the entrance dressed in a sandwich board, and literally, I was like, this way for American barbecue, and it's home cooked, it's locally sourced, it's and I kind of managed to usher them over.
I took an apprenticeship with a construction company called Waits Construction, and I was there for probably 12 years. Started just doing business admin, and from there you got good exposure to different parts of the business, and I really learned a lot.
Spinningfields at the time was like it was a ghost town. There was nothing really there, and they were just starting to develop it, so there was lots of opportunities. So we managed to convince the company that runs Spinningfields to let us have a unit with a rent-free period and some financial support as well, which was amazing. We literally could not believe it. We'd like managed to convince somebody, but it felt like we were conning somebody that we could do it, because we were still kind of unsure of what we were doing.
OpenMoney was saying about young people being the future of ideas, and they really welcomed the ideas that I had, and kind of moved me through the ranks there at the business. And by the end of it, I was there kind of head of corporate social responsibility and their head of business development after 12 years. So I had a real good learning curve at Waits, but I was still kind of always looking for something more and something a little bit entrepreneurial.
Because we were so focused on the bigger restaurant, because that was kind of the big crown jewel that was really important to us, we lost track of what was going on with the smaller restaurants. That was kind of one of my first lessons. It was you know, if you want to grow a business, you have to look at something and you have to structure it and think big.
I set up a couple of social enterprises in Greater Manchester. That didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. But all these little things were kind of lessons. They weren't failures. So I was coming up with little ideas and trying them and kind of chancing my luck whilst keeping the day job.
I wanted to take the model that we'd had for the previous restaurant and evolve it so that it actually was something that was somewhere I would go. It was aimed at women, which isn't something that traditionally in hospitality we did. It was usually, most concepts were aimed at men at the time. It wasn't easy to kind of push these things through that didn't sit with the status quo of what they were all used to for hospitality.
By the end of the night, our gin and tonic was actually ranking above some really well-known brands on all these cards. So it's the idea kind of, you know, manifested itself then that, right, we've got to do something with this. The next day, I jumped onto LinkedIn and I'm thinking, right, I'm going to start messaging buyers. I found the buyer for Harvey Nichols, Selfridges, Harrods and Fortnum and Masons. I don't know why we went super premium, but we did. Told them all that we was meeting the other person. It's in your best interest if you take a meeting with us whilst we're in London over these 2 days. We wasn't going to London and no one had told us that we could have a meeting with them. So I think the art of the blag, I think it's something we do in Manchester and Greater Manchester. You know, we're quite a cheeky region when we need to be, but you can use it to your advantage. You know, if you believe in something, you can definitely use a bit of confidence and a bit of tongue-in-cheek humour to get your foot in the door.
In particular, somebody that Tim Bacon, who owned the Alchemist and the Oast House and Australasia and all these restaurants, and I just thought he was so switched on and so clever, and that's somebody that I wanted to be like. So I went to meet him and to see if he could give me a job, basically. And the more that we talked, he was like, you can do this on your own, you know, you're absolutely fine, but let me tell you a secret. You've got to blag it a bit, like stop questioning yourself so much. You've got to be a bit of a blagger and have some confidence. And that's the most attractive quality in the corporate world.
We've gone into the growth company and they really helped us with a business plan. They said, right, well, if you're going to make this much, you're going to need to spend this much. And they helped us with the numbers and kind of put their arm around us a little bit. Through our work with the growth company, we was able to get a small government startup loan. We was able to get a bit of business planning. And that was great. We got the listing into Harvey Nichols exclusively, but it definitely did begin with a blag. We were like, well, we've got this little side project that's ticking away. We've got, you know, it's not making much money, but we believe, you know, we believe in it. Should we go for it? Weirdly, a couple of weeks before, Dragon's Den had asked us, would we want to go on an audition? And we said no, because the business was, you know, it was a part-time project. It was a bit messy. It wasn't very well organized. And then as fate had it, they asked us a couple of days after we got made redundant, would we go? I'm like, yes, we'll be in there. What time do you want us there? And we went on Dragon's Den. I think I had £50 in the bank when we went in there. And we just thought, you know, what's the worst that could happen? We go on Dragon's Den, and if they rip us apart, it's free advertising. We'll sell some more gin via our website. But, you know, they like what they saw, and we give a really good pitch, and you know, we came away with 2 offers.
The learning process for me has been very much that it's actually normal to face problems and challenges, and my job is to be a problem solver. It's normal to be afraid, it's normal to feel, you know, a bit concerned and to question yourself, but you have to have a little chat with yourself and just remind yourself that you've got it and you can do it. These problems are always fixable. There's always a solution. You can always talk to somebody and find a way through it.
There's loads of support in Greater Manchester, and there's some really, really good services. It's definitely getting better as well. You know, we do a lot of going back to the growth company now and talking to young entrepreneurs and trying to help them on their journeys. But reach out to people through these networks, because you know there's lots of support in this region, and I think it's an amazing region to have ideas in. And it's a place where younger people with ideas and talent are definitely supported.
Well, last year we had lockdown, and we've come into this new period where it's like you think you've had challenges before, but we're now facing new challenges. But it's a time to be entrepreneurial and to look at the situation and what we can do and how we can be creative.
It's good to be humble, and it's good to be connected to your roots, and it's a true sort of part of the Manc character that people are connected to their roots. But you have to, at some point, go that step further forward and just then have a sort of inner belief that says, yes, I can actually do this. And it's a nice thing about the Northern DNA that we're not overly arrogant or overly self-confident. We can actually sort of sell ourselves short at times. And I just think, listen carefully to what Liam and Karina were saying there. A lot of it was about the luck that you had, wasn't it? Things that opened up for you, the chance meetings that you had. But it's about seeing those, believing in yourself and grabbing those opportunities.
At the time that we were doing all of this, it was just at the end of the recession, the last recession, so 2011. And it was a time for opportunity. And it's like now we're coming out of this lockdown and it's been a really, really tough time for businesses, but it's also I feel like this is going to be another one of those periods of time where there's loads of opportunity for new businesses.
And I think the tables are turning on that north-south divide as well. You know, our food and drink scene, our fashion scene, our tech scene, you know, we're attracting people up this way. The region's definitely changing for the better. And, you know, it's that north side, it's not a thing anymore. I think we've got loads to be proud about.
When I started out, I had my husband next to me. So I was used to, I'd say something and people would look to him and he'd nod and they go, oh, okay. And then suddenly I was on my own and they'd just look at me and be like, but who can we actually ask to check if this is all right? Oh, it's just her. So I think that's where confidence and really knowing your stuff comes in. So like, because I had worked every job going in hospitality, I knew what I was on about. So because I felt comfortable with the information I'm giving, I had enough confidence to keep repeating and questioning people when they weren't listening to what I was asking for or engaging with me in the way that I was hoping. Being female in a really male-dominated industry, it's not a walk in the park by any means, but there are more and more of us all the time. And I'm trying to kind of nurture those females that work around me and convince them that it is an industry to have a career in.
It's taken us 3 years to get to where we are now. It's now getting really formal and really serious and it's scalable. Like, I think you've just got to go with it. Go with your gut. You know, you've got to enjoy what you're doing. It's got to be a passion project because at the end of the day, you're selling something regardless of what it is. And if you don't believe in it, why is anyone else going to believe in it? But come up with as many ideas as you want.
I had a business plan. Honestly, one of the best pieces of advice I can give for a business plan is to make it really pretty, because I've spent hours writing things and doing financial forecasts, and I swear to God, nobody has read it because they still ask me stupid questions. But they like the pictures. Make sure the content is right, but I'm just saying the pictures really help.
You know, I've got this more work with people who are better at what they do than you. So, you know, if you've got someone in marketing, you've got to trust them and get on with that. Initially, you've got to do it. You end up doing it all yourself. And I think for 2 years, you know, me and Mark were the finance function, we were the e-commerce, we were operations, we were sales, and you know that you can only sustain that for a period of time, and you'll either burn out or not get very far very slowly. As time passes by and the business grows, you've got to learn to let go a little bit as well and surround yourself with good people.
The people that I work with on a day-to-day basis, they are everything. And I think that's where it's crucial in any business. So I am very much behind doing as much as humanly possible yourself, but you can't do everything yourself. So you have to then have people you can trust and rely on and work with. And those people are my family. A real kind of focus for me is that we looked after our team, because that's a long-term investment and they're my family.
One piece of advice, get a job. There's so many good apprenticeships in this region. When I got a proper job and an apprenticeship, I didn't think for the life of me when I was in school I'd work in construction, but I was exposed to so many different people and different kind of functions, so I learned a lot.
You've got to have the courage of your convictions. So you've got to believe in what you're doing, believe in your business and love your business, because if you don't love it, you probably won't keep going with it, because it's not always easy. So you need to have that passion and that drive for it.
We've sort of had a really great overview and lots of tips and advice. If I could I please hand back over to Rose on this?
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's taken part this evening. entrepreneurs, Karina and Liam. And yes, I did go through. I think I bought one of your watches, Liam. I think I need to speak to you about that. I don't think it.
You stop ticking.
That's what I was just thinking. But I guess the point is, it's about the endeavour. Like, say, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or, you know, whatever you want to do, Greater Manchester is a place that you can do things. And there's also a website called GMAX. So if you want to find out about apprenticeships and how you can progress, like Liam very eloquently pointed out to us, that apprenticeships are a brilliant route forward. So please do give us that feedback, and please do keep talking to us, and just keep going. Like everybody said, keep going. But for now, that's it for this evening. Thanks for all joining us.